And he wobbled you. All right. Hey, I never saw a more disappointed guy in my life than yesterday with Zander Krause. It was almost like he had kids and he was hoping that the kids would like wreak havoc yesterday on Big Sills. And fucking man, he goes like this. You got to put me on. You got to get me. And then, man, did he lay into it, man. Okay? Oh, hey, now this is a good take. Fat Lives Matter. That's a good take. I love it. Hey, fuck you, M. Reyes. You had a good day yesterday. I'll give you that, man. You didn't let me run you over. Okay? You did. You had a good day yesterday. With all that, I've never seen a more disappointed guy in my life than Zander, man. He was shaking his head, total disgust, because I absolutely starstruck all you fuckers. Even you, Sue. Without further ado, the man who this morning had an uppercut, a right lead. Before you knew it, this guy was given the gold medal for the middleweight championship of the world. Here he is from Birds 365. You want to see a fight? You go to that bitch every morning. Here he is, Big Z, Zander Krause. How you doing there, brother?
What's going on, Sileo?
I like the lid, dude. I like the color too, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Nah, man, it's been a funny day, Sills. I've had a lot of different things come up today. We started off with our hilarious debate with Johnny Mac and I about the hockey game, which, you know, again, awesome. I re-listened to that debate. John still hasn't proven one thing to me. Sorry, John, but, you know, I digress on that. And then I go into, you know, I have to do a personal call to the local police department about someone threatening me and my entire family. And this is now thousands of messages. So I'm like, all right, I'm done with that. I'm dealing with this. So now I have to deal with that. So I put that out. And then right after I deal with that, okay, I get this beautiful thing in the mail from one of our great viewers. All right. And I'm going to show you guys this right now. He sent me a nice card, says Zander. All right. And he wrote me a beautiful card. And he made me a custom JAKIB.
Oh, wow.
It's like a real good cutting board, dude. This thing is dope as hell.
Yeah.
So I got this and I'm like, see, it ain't all bad. But no, it's been one of those days, you know. Been one of those days. But yeah, great stuff. Great stuff all around as always.
Let me tell you what I have to do with my Hummer, because you know me, Big Sills has a vanity plate. You knew I would. It says Sileo on it, right? You know what I have to do with my Hummer? I have to park it behind a fence because my wife doesn't want anybody seeing the fucking plate. So one day I
can't mistake that for anybody's other than Big Sills.
No, you could see that thing from the space shuttle, man, with Sileo's canary yellow and shit. So get this. I go out the other day to get my mail. Guy across the street. We just moved into this new place, right? Guy across the street. Excuse me. Are you Dan Sileo? I'm like, God. Hey, you know, usually that's a good thing. Me, I do this. God. Yeah. Have I insulted you? My wife is always like, the guy gave me a bottle of wine. She's like, I ain't drinking that shit. I'll tell you that. I don't know. You don't know if it's been poisoned or not, man. She's like, I get it, Zander.
Wait, somebody just put in the chat. What are you cooking? Do I look like a cook to you? You don't think I'm cooking anything, do you? I don't cook, all right? I don't cook. The women in my life cook everything for me.
That'll go well.
I don't load dishwashers. I don't scrub dishes in sinks. Okay. You know what? Wait, so you know what the greatest thing is? Nothing more attractive than a chick to a chick than a dude who does dishes.
Holy shit. Zander's now Harrison Buckner II.
Oh, no. Did I just go down the Butker route? No, I just have amazing women in my life who take care of that for me.
Harrison Buckner now lives at JAKIB. How you doing?
I just have great women around me, brother. I just have great women around me.
I hear you, man. Hey, dude, let me say something about that thing last night. That was one of the best hockey games I've seen since the Olympics. And what separated that, John's right. Hey, dude, that NBA Cup thing is totally a gimmick, and the players play it like it's a gimmick. When you watch that thing last night, if you didn't come away going, fuck, they're playing with groin pulls, they're playing with some of those. Did you hear some of those guys? Ferraro was going like this. man, some of these guys are not even going to be ready to go and play this weekend on Saturday because they've been too banged up because of this tournament. Bro, man, I came away with that. I know why I love hockey so much is because of what I saw last night, dog. I mean, those guys have great pride in the sweaters they wear. Those guys have great pride in what their country represents. Yeah. That's one thing J.J. Watt said last night. You know, he tweeted that out also, man. He said, man, I wish the NFL, man, I wish you could play for your country, but you don't. Football is only a U.S. sport, dude. I mean, it really is. Canada, kind of, I guess.
It is. That was a sick game last night. Like, I still don't understand what the hell, you know. And again, you know, all due respect to the great debate that we had this morning. I mean, how can you be a wrestling fan and then tell me that what the NHL did last night was a gimmick? I'm not knocking wrestling. I love wrestling. I don't watch wrestling. I'm just saying you're going to say you don't like it because it's a gimmick. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. I thought the game was unbelievable. I think, you know, there's one thing I want to say on a serious note, and I'm happy that we get to have this conversation because I tried to have it with John and it just didn't work. But I played hockey growing up. I played hockey at a pretty high level. I wasn't going pro or anything like that, but I played AAA hockey until, you know, I was 15, 16 years old, which is the highest you can play as a kid before you go to juniors and stuff.
That's great.
A lot of players I played with are in the league right now. Caden
But
Primo.
what you're not getting, Zander, what you did, what people aren't going to get what he just said. Say that again. You played AAA hockey. Do you understand, folks? He's playing with people from fucking Sweden,
all over
from Russia.
Wait, but I want to say, here's what I want to say to people. I don't think one of the things I think that's the hardest thing for people to get with hockey is I don't think people realize how good those guys are last night. Like, you don't, these guys that if you did watch the game last night, the guys on that ice last night are unreal. Even you talk about, I played with great people. These guys don't hold a candle to the guys on that ice last night, man, they're so good at the sport. And I don't know if it's because I played it so I can appreciate it. People can appreciate it, but they're unbelievable hockey players. I'm in awe. I watch it and I'm like, I know the game like the back of my hand. I played it since I was 2 years old, literally. Started out skating at 2. My brother was 4. It's unreal how good those guys are. And to watch them move the puck, skate up and down the ice, the way they shuffle it around, it's just unbelievable. And it's such a good sport. And I love it.
How about the intensity on the boards?
Oh, dude. And Sills, you know, again, it wasn't meaningless because you were wearing USA Canada, but you couldn't do that in another sport. They don't care about anything.
No way.
They don't try like those guys wanted to win that game. They wanted to win that game. And I love that. I love that about hockey players. I really do.
You want to hear something crazy about my wife and my kid about hockey? My wife and my kid have been to more NHL games than NFL games. My wife 1 year went to the entire home games. Okay? Went to the entire home games of the season. I forget what year it was for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Every home game she went to because I was broadcasting on TV. I was doing for Sunshine Network. And she would drop me off, you know, because it was in almost the same building. She would go right over and she would watch the Lightning play. She's watching Peter Bondra. She's watching Esa Tikkanen and all these guys. And, dude, I did the Lightning pre and post for 4 years. I love the fucking
I love that you did that. Yeah, that's right. You got a background in hockey a little bit with this business. But, amazing. I thought the game was awesome. I really did. I thought it was one of the cool – if the NHL does that every year, I mean – they're going to grow the sport. I mean, that's the way to grow the sport. There's no doubt about
PK Subban, it kills it as an analyst.
I thought he was amazing on air. He's been great for a long time now since he's been doing it. But by the way, he was an exceptional hockey player. For those who don't know, he was. He was a hell of a hockey player.
I think that barn they have in Nashville is one of the top barns where people go to. Where you know what, great fan base. I think they went all the way to the finals 1 year when he was on that team. Right. And then I think they moved him to Montreal, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he was great when he played, and he's exceptional on air. Got great style. Love the fits. Yeah, he's great. Really good on air.
And he laid into the NBA, which was great. All right, let me get to some of these topics here now.
Yep.
So Jordan Davis has now become eligible. He's out of the 22 class. He's eligible for a contract extension. Now, remember something with what they did with Devontae Smith. Right. You know, they gave him a contract extension and they implemented the 5th year in that thing, and they ended up giving him a multi-year contract. So right now on February 21st, are you giving and picking up that fifth-year option with Jordan Davis? It's 12 million. It's 12 million, by the way.
You know, that's actually not too bad. I know it's
What
deep,
about
but it's not crazy. You know, I hear these people talking about the linebacker position, and this is one of the things that is a little bit flabbergasting to me as a fan of the NFL. Like the way that players are paid is so positional. Like, how is Saquon Barkley making $12 million? All due respect, and Devontae Smith, who I love, is making double and a half. Like, I think that we should have more of a priority on what a guy does for the team and how impactful they are. You know, people talk about the Zach Bond contract and like $15 million, that's too much for a linebacker. I'm like, you're paying 18 to Bryce Huff, who didn't do shit, and nobody bats an eye because he's an edge rusher. I don't care he's a linebacker. That guy's worth $15 million in my defense. But back to Jordan Davis, I don't think I can pick that option up right now. Right now, as it stands today, I don't know if I can pick that option up. Now, I think the player has come on a little bit where I think the discussion with Jordan is tough is that I don't think he's a trash can.
Nope.
But he's obviously drafted too high. So now you're gauging, like, how much do we like him? We don't like him as a 13th overall pick, but at the end of the day, we can't change that. So now what's his impact or his value on the team moving forward? I think that's a tough discussion, but
it is.
I don't know if I could pick up that fifth-year option. Here's the thing: if you
let 25 be the do or die year for him, then you let him go into it.
Well, it would have to be. It would have to be, right? It would have to be. Yep. Now, you know, I don't know. If you let Milton walk, do you pick that option up? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
You're gonna remember, Zander, when you're doing these contracts, you have to fill the other side of the scale to make it even.
Right.
You just can't let everything go. You know what I mean? Does that mean if you because Jordan Davis is a tough one for me because he plays 25% of the plays, and most of the time, 68% of the time, you're in nickel, which means he's off the field. Yeah. Now, from the New York game all the way through the playoffs, I thought he played well.
He played good in the playoffs.
He was in shape.
He was.
Bond had a great year, which meant that the guys in front of him had to have an impact.
No, he was. He was good in the playoffs. But here's my worry with him, right? This is the worry when you're talking about picking up the fifth-year option. All right. If you're going to let Milton Williams walk, and I know everybody feels like decent about Moro Ojomo, but I mean, come on, you're not going to build your defense around a guy like that, or go into the season with hope that guy can be good. But is Jordan versatile enough to play more of that traditional D tackle role? I don't know if he is, because if you get rid of Milton and let's just say Moro takes that spot, the only way you pick up that fifth-year option on Jordan Davis is if you feel like you can play him in more snap scenarios than what you have done up until this point. If he can't play a more traditional style, you know, like you talk about all the time on the show with DTs and stuff, I don't know if you're going to give him that contract because he's a nose, you know? So I don't know. It might change the way your defense plays. The other thing is, though, I think he makes life a lot easier for Zach Bond and those linebackers. I mean, that dude is a block eater, bro. He eats block. Even if he's not playing good, he eats blocks because he's so damn big. You know, he's so big and so powerful. So, you know, if you're going to sign,
he's a tough.
It is. It's a tough conversation. I think at $12 million, though, if you're going to sign Zach Bond back, I'm probably picking it up. But I understand both sides of it. I understand if someone said I'm not ready to go there yet, but
it would actually be 11-7.
Which is not crazy money. It's
not when the cap is going to 2.
Now let me ask you this. All right. Speaking of them, could you see Howie? I don't want to say take advantage of because that's not what I mean, but potentially use kind of the deficiencies of Jordan Davis's career up until this point, couple it in with the fifth-year option, give him a Devontae Smith type deal where you get him for another 2 years at $10 million a year or $12 million a year, because you can, if you add in that extension, you'll be able to manage the cap hits like how he did with Devontae Smith, backload the contract with void years. And now you're talking about a low cap hit, and he's going to be here for 3 years as he develops into what we hope is a more everyday down NFL player. I think that could be fair because that will lower your cap hit.
Let me answer a couple things you said there. this is the reason why tight ends who are very productive don't want to be labeled as tight ends if they're getting the ball with 100 catches, because wide receivers make 36 million, tight ends make 18 million. If you look at what Travis Kelce gets, Travis Kelce's not making 20 million.
Yeah,
he's making 17 million.
Right.
I mean, look at what Goddard's making. Those tight ends don't make a lot of money, but get this, they get the volume and targets that the wide receiver get. So they're not designated that. So that goes to what you're saying about with Barkley making only 12. Now for Jordan, well, Jordan had a better season this year. Why? Because they moved him. They moved him to the nose.
And he was out there
back. If they moved him back to the traditional D tackle position, would you get what you had in 22?
Yeah,
when he
I
fell
don't know.
apart at the end of the year?
That
would concern me.
It's a fair question because he didn't really play all that many snaps last year. I mean, there were some games he played like 16 snaps. I mean, that's not a lot of snaps. So, no, he's one of the tough conversations, but I don't know, man. I got to think Howie would want to see a little bit more. The only thing I could see going for Jordan is if he's willing to take that team friendly, because I think he's aware he hasn't quite been as dominant as people thought he was going to be. Maybe he wants to stay around, let's stay with his Georgia boys, stuff like that. And Howie wants to keep continuity on that defense. I could see it for that reason. And the other thing is, I think Clint Hurt's done a good job with him.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to see Clint Hurt with him for another year.
Clint likes him too.
You're going to get that another year inevitably. But I think that could be one of the, maybe Clint Hurt is able to kind of make him a more impactful player on other downs. Maybe not, but I don't know. It is an interesting move though, for sure.
How about this? Like you just said, so you're talking about doing something like this. Pick that option up. It comes to 12. And when his extension kicks in, that 3 years, you want to give him money up front with the contract extension where that 12-year and that 5th-year option picks up. And you want to pay him like 987. Go down the line, have the bonus pick up some of that to kind of come around 11 million. And especially, remember what I got to keep doing too. This is something I have to keep doing in my mind with the salary cap. Somebody asked a great question earlier. So the evaluations of the player changed. No, the market and the business model changes. When you're dumping more money in, okay, that means the assets become more valuable. Okay, so a kid who was maybe the same player 2 years ago, but the model has changed because the business models change. That guy that was worth $8 million 3 years ago is now worth $13 million. Nothing's changed. The business models change. As you know, Zander, doing the business, the business fluctuates up and down. Look at what the running back market did. The running back market last year, you had some of the greatest and maybe the greatest free agent market for running backs in NFL history. Why? People wanted to get off that. Now, all of a sudden, they watch the fucking Eagles win the Super Bowl. You know what I'm thinking? Do I go get Aaron Jones? Do I go get Dobbins? Do I go get one of these guys?
I don't know, man.
What the Eagles did.
There's only few teams who can look at the Eagles and say that. Because if I'm let's say 24 of their teams in the NFL, when I look at the Eagles, I don't think I want me a Saquon Barkley. You know what I think? I need me some fucking offensive linemen, man. I need me some offensive line. And this league does not have enough good offensive linemen. So,
let me look.
If you're a great team, though, and you do have a good offensive line, and there is a few of those out there, you probably look at the birds and you want to double down on the running. I do agree with that. Okay,
let's go to this one here. So I think I'm with you, too, on Davis. It's a tough conversation. It's funny. I talk to Clint a lot. I don't say everything, but he likes the player a lot. And he goes like, he was in shape. And I go, dude, he was not only not in shape, the both of them were in shape. And I think that Zach Bond benefited. I mean, if I'm in a negotiation and I'm representing Jordan Davis, hey, that dude behind me benefited from me playing well. Absolutely. I may not have had 50 tackles, but I'll tell you what he did. He had 170 tackles because of what I was doing up in front of him there, man. I mean, dude, if you can't play that style of defense if you don't have a good nose.
I know.
You just can't.
And that's where I think Howie's going to – I think, honestly, in my heart, I think Howie's going to keep Jordan Davis around. I really do. Now, I don't know if everybody's going to like that or not, but I think because of what you just said and because of the success that they had on the defense, I don't think they're going to look at him and just say, let's move on from it. Because here's the interesting part about Jordan Davis as well. Milton Williams is a much better player. I think we can all agree. At least more impactful right now.
He is.
Right? He's easier to replace just in that he's a traditional DT. Jordan Davis, there's not that many guys that can play nose that are his size with his power in the league. You just don't see a lot of guys like that. They're a more rare breed. So if the Eagles want to use that style and continue to have a guy like that on your roster, you can make up for Milton. It might not be as good, but you can put a Jomo because he can play that style of tackle. You can't put a guy like that for Jordan Davis, though. I don't think at least.
How did you replace Javon Hargrave's 11.5 sacks? Who'd you replace him with?
I guess you didn't really. I mean, last
year.
You
did. Jalen Carter.
Well, yeah, that's true. I forgot. I was more thinking he replaced Fletch, but yeah, Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter.
To your point. That's to your point.
Right.
You replaced him with Jalen Carter and you upgraded.
Yeah.
So you're right. I think edge rushers are a little more difficult to replace than defensive tackles and nose tackles. No. Defensive tackles.
Yeah.
I think nose tackles, like, I'll tell you this, the Buccaneer defense, you know the difference when Vita Vea is not in there.
Right.
I mean, you don't have that guy in the middle.
Yeah.
How about this too, man? When the Steelers don't have Hayward in there, Cam Hayward in there, that's a whole different group up front too, man.
Right.
Okay, so again, I think that's a tough conversation. I like what you're saying though here, man. How he comes up with a deal where you pick up that 12 and then you go 9, 8, 7 and you offset it with the signing bonus and you're getting a lower number on the base. And you know what, Jordan, I have to always remember though, sells the cap by the time that second year of his extension, that cap's probably $300 million then.
Right.
So you got to look at that number and go,
this thing's going to go. It's probably going up, another $20 million next year?
It'll be over 327.
Yeah. Holy moly, man. It's crazy the level of money that we're getting, that these teams are getting to. But now, yeah, look, and credit to the Eagles. They play that well. That's part of the reason they sign contracts early and do those void years, because they know dollars today are going to be worth less in the future. And it's in a way, for those who are into finance like me, it's like interest-free money. I mean, that's how the Eagles look at it. It's interest-free money. You're borrowing interest-free money in the future with no ramification or no payback. So
remember what Howie says. If we're talking about it, it's too late.
Yeah, right. True.
That's his mentality, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about it. You're behind the scales here. All right, Zander. I'm going to throw this at you here, and then I want your retort on this here. What would you be willing to trade for Myles Garrett? And here's where I'm at here. By the way, people are the stupidest people on the planet in here. I am putting Nolan Smith's name potentially in a conversation with the best player on the planet.
I know. I'm
not talking about fucking Hassan Reddick here.
I will say, man, you had me almost convinced when I was listening to your first segment.
Okay, that to me, okay, we're not, dude. Nolan Smith, Max, I'm not really interested in that. Because I'm more like you. Make me want to rip my business plan up for me to do something a little bit different than what I just won a Super Bowl. Fuck, if I don't want to improve the passing game all that much because I just won a Super Bowl running the ball, what makes you think I want to change my fucking defense around? So I'm with you. Make me want to do this. Myles Garrett. Whoa, okay. What are we talking here? So this is where I'm at here with this, and you tell me. Look, it's going to take a first-round pick no matter what. Now, for a guy who's 30 soon, 2 first-rounders, man, I don't know. That would be a tough one. But remember something, because you're picking 32, and I'm going to assume at 27, you're going to be picking from 25 down to 32. You're going to be down there. So you're talking about 2 low-end picks in the first round for a superstar.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's the problem. And so here's the other problem with what you just said, too. If any team with a top 15 pick, a top 15 pick is worth 2 of what we have.
That's right.
So we say 2 ones and we hear 2 ones and we're like, holy shit, that's a lot. The Browns are like, your ones are kind of meh. If I get 110 overall pick, 112, 111, that's worth both of our ones.
That's right. Most people in here are thinking that they're looking at it going, well, your 32nd pick is as valuable as Tennessee's first pick.
It's not even close.
Close.
Dude, we could give away this year's one and next year's one.
That's right, for that one pick.
And still not be able to match a guy who's going to give a top 8 pick. We're not going to be able to do it.
That's right.
I don't know. This is going to take 2 to tango, too. It's another interesting part. You look at the Browns' perspective. If I'm the Browns, I'm not really interested in anything the Eagles have other than players.
Well, wait. Let me make it enticing then.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so here.
Let's hear it.
32nd pick, you're going to, like I said, you're going to have to offer more assets for Cleveland to want to do this. And by the way, for me, I have to on my end go, well, how much am I willing to change the wheel? Because I'm not really willing to change the wheel that much too. You know what I said to people? Hey, just because Howie Roseman has $25 million more in the cap, folks, pump the brakes here. That don't mean he's going to go reckless spending. That's what's made his name and the way that guy knows how to spend. Okay, there was a deal years ago that was straight up. The Patriots traded Richard Seymour straight up for a 1, and Richard Seymour was a Hall of Fame defensive tackle. A little bit different of a position, obviously, but Seymour was an impact player. I said this to you. If you don't want to trade Nolan, okay, let's do it without Nolan first. I say you would have to do this. Your 2025 first-round pick, which is the 32nd pick.
Right.
Your second-round pick in 25. Your third-round pick in 25. And a fifth in 26 to make this happen. Well, dude, you got to make them want to
No, I know. I'm not saying you're wrong.
And this is not changing. I'm not – you know what I'm adding? I'm losing Sweat and replacing Sweat with Garrett.
I know. The only thing I don't like about it is that with the way the team is built and with the way Howie does contracts, drafting is such a big part of our success. It's why we're good right now, because Howie was successful in the draft. So giving up all those assets, you're going to lower your margin for error because you're not going to be able to bring in young guys. So you're not going to have cap room to sign free agents. You need young guys to fill out the rest of the roster, and they're not going to be able to do it. So we're going to be living in the land of undrafted free agents.
Myles Garrett said he would restructure the $79 million that are still owed to him, and you can get that number down to maneuver. And by the way, to your point, how much impact in the last 3 years do you think A.J. Brown and Saquon Barkley have had with Howie Roseman's trades? What do you think his trades have meant? Barkley was a free agent, okay? So that was a sign. I'm talking more about the money on that. But his acquisitions, what acquisitions do you think have been more impactful on his football team than A.J. Brown and Barkley? A.J. was not on a very good football team. Look at what he added to the mix with the Eagles. They've been to 2 Super Bowls. Now you add Barkley, you win a Super Bowl. You add Garrett, who was on the worst team in the NFL, arguably. Well, don't you think you just brought in Barkley, who was on the worst team in the NFL and the Giants? What do you think a guy like Garrett being on the best team in the NFL would do? Wouldn't he have a Barkley result?
Here's the thing with this trade. Every time I think about what we have to give up, I say, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Every time you tell me your defensive line is going to be Myles Garrett, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter with Zach Bond and Kobe Dean, I'm like, oh my, who would stop that?
No one.
You thought we were the number 1 defense last year. We'd be like the -4 defense next year.
How do you think that helps Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean playing corner if you have that front 7?
Oh my God, that is such a scary thought to think about Myles Garrett on this football team. But I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. This is going to be this. I tell you what, this is going to be interesting because I think even Howie's sitting there shaking his head, scratching his head right now. Like, this is the type of player that Howie would go for.
They're the second betting favorite to land him.
Yeah, and Howie's going to be in the conversation. There's no doubt about it. Remember, the GM in Cleveland is a former Eagle guy. Yep. He was a Howie Roseman. Andrew Berry. Yep, he was in the Howie tree. So I don't know. That defensive line would be insane, though. That would be insane. Now, I'm so back and forth on this. I said I'm out because I hate the assets. You're telling me we don't have a 1 pick in the top 3 rounds this year? Oh, that's brutal. But Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett.
Remember something, Zander, we're not talking about any other guy. There's nobody in the league that I would covet that you have.
What do you think of this? Slager says, watch it. Dream teams have not fared well.
I'm talking about you need an edge to replace Josh Sweat.
We do.
I'm not talking. And by the way, when you get rid of those assets, we're not talking about. And he's willing to restructure the $79 million to lower the.
Worried about the. I don't know. Maybe it's the Howie in me now that like I just love Howie so much. I don't like worry about the money thing.
So like, let me bring this in here then. What if you were able to do this? So Myles Garrett, you make that move. What I just said, you lower his cap hit, which affords you to be able to sign Milton Williams. And your front is Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, and Myles Garrett. And your other linebackers are Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean. That's your front 7.
That's insane.
Because with the restructuring of his money, you could sign Milton.
Yeah, this would be crazy. This would
be. Milton is a Howie guy.
Milton is a Howie guy. There is one. I do think we're all skipping over Milton a little quick. I know he's going to get paid, but Howie drafted this guy with a 3rd pick, and Howie loves defensive linemen. Loves defensive linemen.
If you were to redraft Milton Williams now, Howie Roseman, he'd be the 15th pick, maybe 12th pick, maybe where Jordan Davis was picked. That's where
he would draft as Jordan.
I think so. Maybe he was
20. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't.
I think he's 21.
Yeah, he was the same draft as Smitty, I think.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah. Same draft as Smitty.
Well, here, let me put it to you this way. Jordan Davis plays more like the bottom of the 1st, and that guy plays like the 13th pick. Okay? He plays like the 13th pick. Milton Williams. It's a marvelous draft pick. But
3 good picks there. Devontae, Landon Dickerson, and Milton Williams.
Hey, I mean, and by the way, every one of those guys, Landon Dickerson, Milton Williams, who's the other guy? Devontae?
Yeah, Devontae.
All 20 million or more. How you doing?
Look at Big Dom. Dude, you thought I was saying no holes defense this year. You get Myles Garrett, man. That thing's gonna be like Flex Seal.
So you would have with that defense, Andrew.
You know that guy in the commercial still is the Flex Seal.
The guy with the boat.
the guy who patches up his boat with the Flex Seal. We're gonna have that Flex Seal.
Look how many candidates you would have for Defensive Player of the Year in one front 7: Carter, Bond, and Garrett.
This is crazy.
And that's without even trading.
Is this possible, or is this pie in the sky?
Okay, I'll name you a name. Howie Roseman. Is it possible?
Yeah, I think it would be. I really do. I think it's possible. That's why I'm considering it. I don't think we're talking about something that's crazy or out of the realm of possibility this offseason.
You've got to make sure you're not doing because you're right. I'm not fucking ripping my game plan up just to do this. Wait a minute here. It's a shiny new lure in the pond, and I'm going to go.
Yeah, this isn't that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to every lure in the pond, Dan. I'm looking at.
Wait, so who are you giving up there? Are you giving up a player, or are you going?
No. First, I'm doing the draft picks. What do you make of what I am on? And you get to keep Nolan.
Yeah, and you get to keep your players. Because we drafted so good, you might be able to get away with losing a couple picks. Where I think Howie would hate that it's one thing to give up your first, second, and third. It's like, all right, I'm not picking until the 4th round.
32nd pick.
Though. You need yeah, that's true. But first, second, and third's a lot, bro.
Oh,
that's a lot. That means you're not picking until the 4th round.
Well, wait a minute now. I mean, you're telling me, hey, Sills, I'm picking a guy who's still in his prime and has got 5 great years, 3 spectacular years left. And inside that window with Vic Fangio, what could Vic do with that guy? Man, look what Vic did with the rotation he had. You add a dude like that to that rotation,
Yeah.
Bro, like I said yesterday, there's not a player on the Eagles better than that dude. But that's for 32 team. I mean, look, you know who's better than him? Mahomes, Allen. I can't think of another guy. Not even Lamar.
Yeah. He is that good. Boy, if Howie pulls this off. The one thing I fear, is kind of what Philadelphia's saying here is like if you go this big, it's great. You're gonna have a great starter, but you're probably not gonna have great depth. It is gonna deplete because you're not going to draft guys second and third round. I mean, you're gonna have those late picks. Who are you gonna be able to sign at depth? It is gonna change the way that the roster is built right now. Part of the reason the roster was so good is you took Jordan Davis off the field. You took Milton Williams off the field. You had Ajomo. You had some of these guys come in who were capable players. Thomas Booker even played some significant snaps this year. So I do think it will change what you can do with the depth, but is the starters enough to overcome that? Many people would say yes, which would be hard to disagree with. But, yeah.
So your rotation at edge would be Nolan Smith if you want to bring Brandon Graham back and Jalix Hunt.
And Myles.
And Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
That's your edge rushing rotation. And I'm not even naming that stuff.
I hope I don't offend any older Eagle fans here, but that thing might put the gangrene to shame.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it would.
That thing might put gangrene to shame.
And look at
holy moly.
Your corners, how much they would benefit.
All right, let me ask you a question. And all right, I understand that this is probably a dumb thing to even think about because Myles Garrett is so good. He's that good.
There's no dumb thing when trades are being talked about.
Does he fit with Vic Fangio?
Yeah, because you know why? He can put his hand in the dirt and stand up. Like, get this.
Vic asked his edges to do a lot.
Get this. Hang on. He does a lot.
I know he does a lot.
You know what makes him – you know what separates him? He can cover if he had to.
Because he's an athletic freak. He's literally a freak. He looks like he was built in a laboratory.
That's right.
Literally. He looks like he was built in a lab.
He is a guy who can cover. Isn't that the guy? He wanted that.
Can he cover? He's big.
I've seen him cover tight ends. Hey, I'm telling you. Remember Van Kinkel? That's a guy that Vic was trying to target.
Right.
And what did he do? He was first team All-Pro in Minnesota this year. That's what he was.
Yeah,
so
Van Kinkel was good.
Yeah, I got another topic here for you.
All right, hit me.
By the way, we'll get to the supers here in a second. Guys,
we got
give me a total on the likes, and also please do me a favor. Hit the like button there. We appreciate you guys very much. All right. This is Big Sills' wheelhouse, this shit, man. I love the offseason here, man. One of my favorite times.
Sills is a content machine in the offseason.
This is just fucking great. I love you keeping a notepad. I see you doing that a lot. I do that every day. Hey, look at this. Here's mine.
Wait, let me look.
Here's my notepad right here. I keep it with me all the time.
I can't use small notepads. My hands are too big.
Well, I got fucking glasses. You don't need that yet.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. I forgot. That's right. You
kidding me? Anybody who met me at the parade.
This guy's aging like a dog.
Anybody who met me at the parade, I was wearing glasses.
Hey,
I wear glasses.
This guy's aging like a dog. He's losing his hair and his eyesight.
I got this little one. Somebody got me this. See, it's got my ZK initial.
Oh, I like it.
Oh, yeah, I can't use it. I can't do that.
Hey, chapter 3. I had to kick John's ass. Okay, we'll stop. Hang on. I got another one here for you. Ready? All right. Kevin Patullo. Who will Kevin Patullo benefit more this year? Will it be Hurts or Barkley?
Hurts.
What is his main job? Because the one thing Kellen didn't do, or did do, depending on how you look at it, because you could say this, he didn't improve the passing game. Well, what was the result? They won a Super Bowl. Well, fuck that. I mean, what are we talking here? Because the Super Bowl is the wideout. Okay? So I'm going to go to player. What player do you think benefits more from Kevin Patullo?
Hurts.
Why Hurts?
Because Barkley's not benefiting from the offensive coordinator. That's Jeff Stoutland and the offensive line. Jeff Stoutland's been the run game coordinator for many years. So I'm not saying he's not going to benefit. I mean, I think Patullo is going to call a lot of runs and stuff, but I think Patullo's job is to work on the other elements of the offense. I mean, I don't think he's coming in here and saying, "Hey, I have a revolutionary run idea to Jeff Stoutland." Like, I don't think he's doing that.
Yeah, but
Right?
I don't want Barkley with 342 carries again. Dude, so like, look at this. So this is what I don't want. Okay, are you cool with this? In 2 years, 700 carries?
I mean, I'm not cool with it, but what are we saving him for?
How about preserving him?
For what?
For 3 years, 4 years?
No, for what? Really? For what?
So you want to run? You want to run the pony into the ground until the pony doesn't stand.
It's an unfortunate thing.
I'm not saying you're wrong there on that. So you're gonna run the pony.
I'm gonna run the pony. I know it's an unfortunate part of football, but I mean, this guy's 28. You know, we didn't get our first. We didn't draft Saquon, right? We got him on his second contract. He should know there's a risk on any team signing a running back to a second contract. Most don't even make it through their second. You know, I think back to one name that I always think of with running backs is Todd Gurley. You remember how much he won, and Le'Veon Bell. You remember how much they wanted to get paid, and then they got paid, and then they just disappeared from the NFL. Like nobody played them. It was crazy. But so we took a risk on Saquon. He's 28 years old. He's got, he had 1,000 carries at Penn State.
He did.
He had 1,000 carries at Penn State. I think it was like 950. So I don't know. What are we saving him for? If we have an opportunity right now, right here in this moment to run him like we did and run our way to another Super Bowl, I ain't holding up. I'm
concerned with the carry. I'm going to be concerned.
I know you are.
I'm concerned because you know why? He's too good a ball player. And last year, that's why Becton is so important. Dude, if you take Becton off that team and all of a sudden you want to do 342 more carries, bro, I mean.
I think they're signing Becton.
I would. To me, I would make this point to you. I think Becton is more important than Milton Williams. Protects Hurts and protects Barkley. He affects two ball players.
You can make that argument. You can make that argument.
Right? And
and look, I mean, look, here's the thing with
he's cheaper. He's cheaper.
The weird part about this entire free agency class is the Eagles are known and have been for years, for the better part of 20 plus years since Andy's been here, are known for building the trenches. All of your free agents, with the exception of Zach Bond, are trench guys. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Mekhi Becton. A lot of people have the mentality that we're just going to let these guys walk. I don't know, man. Like Howie signed Devontae Smith. I love Devontae Smith, but if you think Howie values wide receiver 2 more than he values trench guys, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
So we have a great guy in Mekhi Becton who seems like, I don't know, I don't want to speak for him, seems like he loves Philly enough to maybe give us a team-friendly deal. I think you're going to get him under contract.
He's going to be at $12 million. He's around 11.2.
Yeah, and I'm good with that. You know what I'd do with Mekhi Becton? I'd give him 4 years, and I'd give him $50 million.
4 years would give
$12.5 a year.
Also the opportunity to front end it and lower salaries, base salaries, which would be a lesser of a cap hit moving out after year 1 of the contract when executed, according to CBA. So you could do more maneuvering there. And I believe this, as long as Jeff Stoutland's in the building, I tell you what, I hate that Pagnetti leaving, because I tell you why I hate that leaving, because I don't know how many more years Stoutland's going to coach. And Pagnetti would have been probably the guy, the heir apparent, to walk in there and play that. Who knows what happens? Because I think Kellen Moore is going to fall miserably now on his face with that butt buddy hire of Brandon Staley.
Yeah, and honestly, probably to no fault of his own.
No, had to take the job.
It's bad organization over there, man. I don't know.
How about this one here for Garrett? Ready? 2025 first, 2025 second, and Smitty for Myles Garrett.
25 first, 25 second, and Smitty.
Here, and remember what the Cleveland Browns said 2 years ago about him in that controlled scrimmage. They didn't realize how fucking great he was. Andrew Berry even personally came out and said that guy might just be the best. He might be the best route runner in the league on how good he is. They're going to get a quarterback in there. They need skill set people. Jerry Jeudy's not going to be resigned in that bitch. They're going to move him, man. They need to get assets for a quarterback. And you know who the stupid?
I don't want to do this.
Hey, I could see Sam Darnold in that place this year playing quarterback in Cleveland. Cleveland needs a quarterback, dude. I'm not telling you Darnold's the end all. I'm telling you he's better than what they have in the building right now. And they're going to need to move the sticks. Their O-line ain't that bad. They got some people in there that are good. So for Garrett, give you Smitty. And I'll give you the first and second. Are you biting on that? For Garrett. And you keep all your defensive assets. And I'm not giving the house away.
This is hard. The fan in me wants to say, fuck no. The fan in me wants to be like, are you out of your fucking mind? I love Smitty. But when you do, all right, let's try. I want everybody to try this with me. Please try and take off the Eagle glasses, all right? Get rid of them, put them aside, and look at this objectively. This is a run-first football team.
That's right.
Devontae Smith had how many yards this year?
800.
833 yards with 68 receptions. Are you tossing him in a deal to get Myles fucking Garrett?
AJ fits this offense. Devontae doesn't.
I don't know. Devontae blocks well.
Okay, I got it.
But
I'm talking Myles Garrett here.
No, I'm talking
remember
about
something. Remember this. Remember, folks, I'm not talking about just some dude.
Yeah, I need Yale's take. Yale seems to be good at being objective. Yale is good at being objective. We got hell no. Respectfully, no. Smitty is elite. Mr. International, I'm so upset your internet didn't work yesterday. I really wanted to hear from you, bro. Good job on the show anyway. Hell no, all right? No, F no. No way. Smitty is clutch. No way. No way. No. See, Yale goes yes. Yale tends to have a better ability to be objective, all right? This is a tough one. I think I'm going to go no. I think I'm going to go no because I don't want to fuck up the chemistry of a Super Bowl winning team. We were the number one defense in the NFL. I think there are better contingencies to – you're not going to be as good as you would be with Garrett, but I think you can get good at the edge in a cheaper manner. And I'm going to say no for that reason that, it might more for me be about team chemistry.
Okay.
Like, is that an element?
Yes, it is a thing. Yes.
Right? Like, I'm not crazy to think if you like, that's what I don't like about Nolan. Like, you're telling me you're going to take Nolan and Jalen Carter's not going to be pissed. I know he's going to be pumped about Myles Garrett. He's going to be like, what the fuck you do that for? Then he's going to have a stick up his ass for his whole career in Philly.
Okay. So you pass on the deal and Myles Garrett starts negotiating with Washington.
Wait a second.
Washington, Detroit. What do you think Myles Garrett would do in Tampa? Tax-free money? You got Todd Bowles down there who's been the equalizer for the Eagles.
Let me show you something.
How about if he goes to Kansas City and plays on the other side of Chris Jones?
Fuck Kansas City. Let me show you something.
How about if he goes to San Francisco and plays on the other side of Nick Bosa?
Wait, we both missed the best comment about the trade proposal you made previously with Devontae Smith. All right, we both missed it. Here's Curtis from the chat. Zander, our pass game can't get less than 32nd in the league. In other words, you can give up Smitty. You're not going to get worse.
No, you're not. As a matter of fact, get this. If you get Myles Garrett and Patullo improves you to 15th, 20th, you're not getting beat. You know the room for improvement on the Eagle offense is like a mountain. To improve a Super Bowl offense. Do you understand? Dude, you're one of the worst passing offenses in the league. We won the Super Bowl sales. Can you imagine if you improved it to the 20th? You fucking never beat. You might go undefeated.
I'm interested in like some people say they'd rather trade AJ than Smitty. I don't know. I don't think so, guys. I love
You know what?
Smitty,
He's
but
probably going to be the third dude on my list. He ain't going to be in the top two.
Trades AJ over Smitty? Why are we saying that?
AJ's not a better ball player though than Myles.
I'm not saying he is, but if you're trading AJ or Smitty to try and acquire Myles,
Oh,
how are we trading AJ? But what the fuck? What do we want to trade AJ Brown for?
remember something, dude. That's what. Hey, you've got to make Cleveland. If you want that deal, you got to make them go. You got 32nd pick in the draft in the first.
I'm with King K. AJ's the best receiver in the league to me. I know it's subjective. You can take whoever you want, but yeah, well, that's fine. It's a take one. You take your preference. I love Jefferson. He's easily a top guy in the in the league. It's 1A, 1B. I just like AJ Brown's style with the way he plays and the he's got a big physical body. I like that. I like that, a physical receiver. So I prefer AJ, but yeah, this is tough. I don't know. What is Howie thinking right now? Is Howie even considering this, or is Howie focused on the draft?
Well, he's considering it with your take. That is, I'm not ripping my game plan up and all the shit that we're working on. Vic's probably knee deep in this too. Like, what do you think, Vic? Give me Myles Garrett. Dude, if you could take Nolan Smith and turn him into a ball player, or Zach Bond into a ball player who was a special teams guy, what are you going to do with an actual ball player? That guy's fucking legendary. He's not like, how about this? He would be the best defensive football player the Eagles have had since Reggie White.
Easily.
Right.
Easily.
There's nobody in the last 20. Brian Dawkins is the only guy I'd be in a conversation with that.
Yeah. Well, different position though. So it's hard to to gauge. I mean, an edge, a dominant edge is one of the most valuable players in football. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This whole fucking shit. This is why they don't pay me the big bucks to be a GM. I'd look at this and I'd be fucking dumbfounded. I'd be like, boy, I don't want to give up. I don't want to mess up the locker room, but this guy is unbelievable. I'm telling you what, I keep coming back to we're already the number one defense. How do we get better from that without trading the house, without messing up the chemistry of the team? That's probably where I am.
I'm talking about replacing Sweat. I'm talking about replacing Sweat. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, but in order to replace Sweat in your scenario, we got to give up a lot of stuff.
You got to give up future shit.
Yeah.
I gave you a deal where you didn't have to give up Smith, just a couple draft picks.
Boulevard, you see me getting stressed. Sil's got me stressed over here, man. I got stressed.
These Supers. I got Cole coming in here. Let's do these Supers.
Make sure fucking. It says, hey, Sil, I saw this question on social media. Nick Bosa could be a cap casualty. Would you pursue him instead of Myles Garrett? No.
I don't believe that. San Francisco is not moving off of a 25-year-old edge rusher who was a defensive player of the year 2 years ago.
I'm not overly enamored with those guys' mentalities, too. I'm not going to lie to you. I know they're great players. I think
Bosa counts his money too much.
I don't love it. Look, I think players are all different. I'm not saying they're not great players. Nick Bosa is arguably one of the best players in the world.
Can I tell you why I don't like the Boses?
I wouldn't mortgage a house.
Can I tell you why I don't like the Boses? Let me tell you why I don't like the Boses. I don't like that piece of shit family always denies going to Miami, and they always go to Ohio State, and they're right there in our backyard at St. Thomas Aquinas, and they never. Yeah, they grew up in Fort Lauderdale. They both went to St. Thomas. They didn't even get Miami.
What is your program done? How did they let some of these guys leave that state?
Lamar Jackson went to Northwestern. I mean, dude, even Geno Smith.
Dude, Lamar Jackson played college ball at Louisville.
I know. Because you know what? And by the way, guess who recruited him? Lamar Thomas. He was a wide receiver coach at Louisville. Stupid shit. That's why we've sucked for 20 years.
Philly 444 says, who cares about unknown and unproven picks? For Garrett, come on, man. Hey, bro, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's my room there, man. Any more supers?
Yeah, we got more supers. Here we go. Matt Dio. What's up, Dio? You were demolished yesterday by Big Sills, Dio. What if you move to 2 in the later round picks to next year when we have more comp picks?
Remember,
I don't think the Browns are going to
got to make Cleveland want to bite on the lure. You can't just go what's best for you. You got to make Cleveland want to hit the lure, dude.
Jason says Becton gives us an intimidation factor too big. I agree 100%, Jason. Great take.
I do agree. More physicality. Is what
More
you're
physical,
saying.
better in the run. Agreed, Jason. Agreed 100%.
Yep.
Sig Lord, it's an interesting thing. Real quick, just to go back to Jason's comment. I think what they do with Becton is going to be an interesting tell on what you think the Eagles will do next season.
Oh yes.
If they get rid of Becton, you might be looking at a bigger passing offense next year. If they bring Becton back, I would expect them to, like Sileo has said, incremental improvement on what they were this year. Sig Lord says, I saw an interview with Barkley that he likes the workload and he feels like he gets stronger the more carries he gets throughout the season. Some people are like that.
Yeah, but here too, Sig Lord, he's never shown that in any time in his career in New York. This is the only time that he's shown that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how all the carries end up piling up here. I'm just concerned. I want to preserve him. Okay, and I don't think your take's bad. But I want to try to preserve those carries.
Interesting take here from Big Dom Sciano. Big Dom, thank you, brother. You know I love you, my man. BG plays big at 38. How could Garrett play? Well, BG's what, 35, right? 35?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's not quite 38, Big Dom. But to your point, Edge is one of those guys who can play probably a little bit longer than, it's not 32 where they expire. They can go to 35, 36 years old. So, and with a guy like Myles, you're probably going to get very good play till 33, 34. So
that's right.
I don't know. It's interesting there. Anthony Wilson, what's up, my brother?
I like this guy.
Me too. He's great. Too much draft capital for Garrett. Traded 2 and 6 for Javon Walker. Keep those Georgia boys together for chemistry. Got to keep all the youngsters. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. Either.
I like him, okay, and I don't think, 24 sacks in his first 3 years?
Yeah.
I don't think that's terrible in Jacksonville, okay? But remember something. He was the first overall pick. Jacksonville's going to want.
He's thinking of Trayvon Walker, right? Or Trayvon. Yeah. Trayvon
Walker. If you're talking, because I think.
Yeah, they're in Jacksonville.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have to. Jacksonville's going to want draft capital for that guy because he was the number 1 player taken, dude. They're not just going to take the 32nd pick for that guy.
Yeah, I agree. Big Rhythm says trade picks and take your shot on undrafted free agency. So, boy, we got people all over the yard on this discussion. Big Dom says Garrett equals no holes defense, undefeated defensive player of the year. Bro, you ain't wrong, Big Dom. No holes defense might be an understatement. Absolutely. Kyle Kukorski, what's up, Kyle? Sells like Zander here. I do too. He's fun. I like Kyle because he gives me shit, but he's good about it. Sells and Zander here in Pitts may be getting traded. Interested in Kyle Pitts. Only for a cheap price.
Because Atlanta's in poor shape right now.
Only for a cheap price, in my opinion.
The only problem that I have with Pitts is that he's not a physical player. Okay? And you're in a physical offense, Kyle. I don't think he fits. I don't think he fits Philly. Now, if you just want a pass-catching tight end, you got to put him in space.
Yeah.
And Eagles like to put those tight ends on defensive ends to get chips. He's not that guy. He didn't even play in space when he was at Florida.
I do like Trayvon Walker though. I was reading a comment, but Kyle Pitts would be good. But I wouldn't.
Yeah, he's just
T-Bone. What's up, brother? I say no deal. Make your trade. Then Barkley injured in week 5, out for season. Think mindset of 2-2. Now with no Smitty, where's pass game? Would love Garrett, but only way is without trading key players. And Myles agrees to restructure. That's a good take.
Okay. Yes. All right. So you're saying that if Barkley's hurt in week 3 and you don't have another wide receiver, are you under the assumption how he wouldn't fit and fill that role with a potential free agent wide receiver? They're everywhere.
What do you mean? It's going to be Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, not him. Guess what? Houston wants to get rid of Stephon Diggs. You put Diggs on the other side of AJ. I don't think you're in bad shape there. Remember, this guy makes trades for and by the way, how about if you went and did this? You went and got Tyreek Hill. If you moved No? Tyreek Hill and AJ on your team.
What am I Tyreek Hill for?
All right. Well, if you trade for Garrett.
Where are you getting the money for all that? T-Bone says restructure our contract, sign Becton, Milton, and Bond. However, it takes whatever it takes, but loyalty goes both ways, team and player. Those who chase money are 90% of the time disappointed, never go deep into playoffs again. I don't know.
This is
all right. You got to get to Jason Cole, brother. I'll get to a couple more. We got a couple more, but we can get to him after Jason. All right.
All right. I appreciate it, everybody. Thank you so much, Zander. Awesome stuff, brother. All right, guys, make sure you hit the like button here. Listen, I will tell you, I do believe, and Jason Cole's going to come up here in a second here. So the Brandon Staley hire by Kellen Moore. Remember something. I'll show you what sometimes is wrong with this league. You know what it is? It's kind of like a butt buddy league in the fact that, hey, you do me a solid, I'll do you a solid if I get blown out. Kellen Moore goes to the Chargers. Who hired him as his OC? Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley had to be one of the biggest idiot head football coaches there was in all of football. That decision he made up in Minnesota, the only reason that Los Angeles didn't lose that game was why. This is one of the reasons why this guy ended up losing his job at the end of the year anyway with the Spanos family. You make a decision to go for it on 4th down on your own 25, and the only reason it was that Cousins and the people couldn't hear to audible off and get a playoff in time. You can't make decisions like that where your coaching costs you ball games. So what did Kellen do? He hired him. I'm not saying Brandon Staley's a bad coach. He's not. But sometimes for me, to elevate guys that are worthy to being able to be in that position, if you don't have good assistant coaches, Jimmy Johnson says it every time on this program,